Hi, this is Michael Neer, an immigration lawyer and founder of visaplace.com. So a lot of people are asking us about PR card renewal. In particular, what happens if you're out of the country and your PR card status has expired and you want to return back to Canada, or if you are in the country and your PR card status has expired, and what do you do? Well, typically the rule is that in order to apply for a new PR card, you have to have been in Canada for 2 years within a 5-year period. Now, you don't have to be in Canada for 2 years all at once. You have to add up the days. So your PR card is valid for 5 years. And if you accumulate 2 years in Canada, you'd be eligible to apply for a renewal. It's pretty simple. However, there's a lot of people, for whatever reason, who have not accumulated 2 years in a 5-year period and still need to renew their PR card and still want to get a new one. Well, there is some relief. There are options. Basically, we call that a humanitarian renewal. We have to explain to Canada Immigration that despite that you do not have the 2-year period, that you nevertheless do not want to abandon your status as a permanent resident. And there could be many reasons why you have not met your days. For example, you could be out of the country for a long period of time and your relatives could be ill and you could be away for medical reasons. Also, employment reasons. It's possible that you got a job overseas and that it required you to be out of the country for a lengthy period. There are many possibilities as to why you are out of status, out of the days required. So an application can still be made for a PR card renewal. It's still definitely possible, but it's extremely important to document your case really, really well, explaining why you have not met the 2-year requirement of being in the country for 2 years in the last 5-year period. The processing for those renewals typically take a lot longer than for applications that meet the requirements, because immigration has to, in their discretion, make a decision as to whether or not they will grant the extension. Now, you should know that if you are in Canada and you haven't met your days, that doesn't mean that your PR status has expired. It just means that you can't travel on a PR card. So I always advise people in that situation, if you can, just stay in Canada, accumulate those 2 years, and then apply. No big deal at all. You're still a permanent resident. It's not like the government's going to come and say you no longer are a permanent resident. But the situation is a little bit different for people who are overseas and have to travel back. They can't come to Canada on a PR card if it's expired, and they have to apply for a special travel permit in some cases. So the situation is a little bit more challenging if you've been away from Canada and then your PR card expires. So you always should make sure as to the date of expiry, especially if you're not in Canada. So the takeaway with in my message here is that there is still hope. We do a lot of these PR card extensions or renewals under humanitarian grounds. Not always an easy case. You have to make a strong case. You have to build a file, put together a lot of documentation explaining why you're away, why you've been away, but you've never intended to abandon your status, and that, of course, that if granted, if your PR card renewal is granted, you're certainly going to return to Canada and live in Canada as a permanent resident. So hopefully this has given you some insight into this situation, which is all too common. Thank you for watching. Please click like if you like the video, and visit us at www.visaplace.com.